When we are talking about personal development as a whole, as a practice, as a lifestyle, as a something that we do every day, we hear a lot of promises, a lot of benefits that some of them seems to be pretty good, right? Pretty excite, exciting to go for, and a lot of very cool goals to pursue in our journey of personal development. For example, we hear that we are gonna achieve financial independency by developing ourselves. We hear that we will achieve a powerful self-esteem, a strong psychological processes, a strong personality. That seems pretty cool. We hear that we are going to achieve by doing this work good relationships, that we are gonna manifest the love of our life, that we are gonna enhance our sexual capabilities, that we are going to improve our capacity to make creative acts, that we are going to become more intelligent. What else is the promise or the real goal of what we are doing here in personal development? Sometimes we hear that we are gonna finally meet God and achieve happiness and achieve peace and achieve a serene state of mind. And that is why we are here, right? That is the promised land. That is the treasure that we are looking, right? Well, I don't know. It's very complex. Not everyone that is studying this material will develop all of these benefits through time. A lot of people have a lot of different obstacles that they need to face. Singular dragons, individual demons, and not everyone will achieve, for example, mental peace by doing this work. They may achieve financial prosperity, but maybe not mental peace. Or maybe they may achieve mental peace, but they never will be a master in sex, right? So we need to be realistic with the work that we are doing here, guys and women. Personal development is full of a lot of promises. I don't know if I'm saying that word correctly. So one thing that I will be doing now, if I don't know exactly if I am saying um the word right, I will Google it right away. That is the only way. Promises, yeah. That is the only way that I will improve. So this work is surrounded by a lot of those, but you need to be more mature than that, and you need to understand that some of them you will achieve, some of them you will strive forever to achieve, and some of them you will suck at it. You will suck at it. That is not an excuse to not work at it. It is just a more realistic perspective of what you actually can accomplish here in this work. So let's say we are doing 300, almost like approximately 300 episodes in this Mastermind Podcast Challenge season 2, right? Of all of these 300s, maybe you will be able to actualize 100 of these truths. That means that you are a poor student? No. That means that you are a weak personal developer? No. That means that you are doing something wrong with this challenge, that you are not striving enough, that Derek Israel is not a good teacher enough? No. That only means that you are individual, I'm individual. Yes, we are one. Metaphysically, we are one. But psychologically, we are two. We are two different egos. And your ego have some shit. And my ego has some shit. And it's different. So you do you. Just live your own personal development, your own growth, whatever that may see or that may be. Respect your process. Not everyone will achieve the same thing in personal development. Well, the whole word or phrase personal development is already pointing at this truth. It's already saying it's personal. It's a development, it's an advancement, it's a progress that is personal. What that means? Well, that yours will look different than mine. It's personal. So, although personal development have different promises and have different best case scenarios that we are thinking about it and we are striving for in this journey of getting better every day in a small area and a small details of our life, right? Although there's a lot of stuff in this dream, there is one goal that I think is very practical, realistic, achievable, not for everybody, but for a good amount of the population. This will be achievable. It can transform your whole life. And I think it's a very good goal. It's a very powerful goal to strive for in our work of personal development. And this is a concept that I have been developing for the last year. And I already talked about it a little bit in a small video that I did in Spanish language, like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I was in Los Angeles and I did the video. But I realized that a 7-minute video will be not, it is not enough to explain the richness of the idea. That's why I decided to do a fully explained episode of what I call the personal development positive cycle. Okay, that is the name of the concept. And this concept will give you a new hope in personal development that most of you will be able to achieve. It is not something so out there like being rich or being successful or being a spiritual enlightened being. We hear those things and we say, oh my gosh, I will be able to do it. I understand. I have been there. I do this work with you guys. That's why I teach it. This is my everyday life. So I don't want you now, for now on, I don't want you to be only as aspiring those. Yes, definitely go for it. Go for spiritual enlightenment. Go for being a multimillionaire if you want that. Go for being famous. Go for being able to change the whole world. Go for it. But you will add to a list. To your list, you will add this new um, goal that we can call the positive development, or we can call the personal development positive cycle. And with this goal, your whole journey of personal development will be more practical, more goals and results orientated, and you will feel that you are actually accomplishing something in your life that has true value. So let's get right into it. And welcome to the Mastermind Podcast Challenge Season 2 with your host, Dr. Derek Israel, and I feel amazing to be back in the studio. I have, I think, let me see, one, two, three, four, five announcements before we are gonna start talking about the subject of today. So if you are seeing this after it was live, and you don't care about what is the challenge, what is the Mastermind Podcast Challenge, you don't care about anything that I'm doing in my brand, you don't care about anything at all, and you only want to know what is the concept and how you can achieve the personal development positive cycle, feel free to go forward in the video until I am talking about the subject, because for now, in the next 10-15 minutes, I will be doing some announcements that if you are following the podcast and you are an admirer of my work, you definitely want to check out. So the first announcement that I want to do is just present what is the schedule for this week in our Mastermind Podcast Challenge Season 2, in which we are doing an episode every Monday through Friday about a personal development for a whole year. So we are going to be talking about today about the personal development positive cycle, but tomorrow we are going to talk about one of the most fascinating concepts that I have been um, investigating and practicing for a while now, that we can call living from the future. Okay. And this is a technique that will help you to materialize your future self. It's a pretty advanced technique, but you will be able to handle it. Wednesday, we come with spiritual animals again, and we come with this episode that we call Transform Shit Like the Pig, the spiritual animal. So, if you're a fan of spiritual animals, shamanism, spiritualism, well, this is definitely one that want to you want to see. The pig is an amazing spiritual animal. It's like a wow, oh my gosh, the pig is crazy. So check this out. So Thursday, one of the most important episodes of all time. I have been developing this episode for a long time now because believe me, to understand in a profound sense what is luminosity, what is spiritual light, has been a work that has demanded the best of me. And finally, I feel kind of ready to share with you some of my preliminary conclusions of what may be spiritual light. And finally, Friday, we are coming with this episode that will be on Spanish because I was thinking about this episode and I don't feel like the vibe in English. I don't know, maybe because my primary language is Spanish and I feel like the vibe for this specific episode needs to be on Spanish. Maybe in the future I will translate this to English, but for now I will stick on Spanish because at the end of the day, the Mastermind podcast is a bilingual podcast. Now I am more focused on English because I am in a transition, but in my final visual or in my final vision for this podcast is a fully bilingual podcast in which I can interchange from Spanish to English smoothly with both audiences and being able to impact worldwide to those two big populations, Spanish speaking and English speaking. And so, yes, now I am more focused on English, but that doesn't mean that I will not be doing here and there some Spanish episodes. And in the end of the road, like more in the future, more on Spanish and in English as a harmony. That is my that is a goal further the road. So that Spanish episode, it is called El verdadero significado del Padre Nuestro. In English will be the real meaning of the Our Father pray. So that is our scheduled. Feel free to come live if you like the subject. If not, you can always go to Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast. The links are all below in where you can find this podcast. Second announcement, we finalized the shortcasts experiment. We did that for 2 weeks. A shortcast is a brief form of a podcast that includes a lot of music and sonic technology as his value proposal. So I did that, and you can check that out going in my YouTube channel, Derek Israel, and writing shortcast. And maybe you can check what I did if you haven't. How was my experience doing those? Well, I like it a lot. I don't see the product to be fully realized yet. I kind of the thing that I have in my mind when I'm say shortcast, it is not the same thing that is out there in my YouTube channel. You know, the input that I have, it is not the same as my output. And that is a normal thing with artists. We can never create exactly what we have in mind when we do our art. That is part of the sacrifice process. We always sacrifice something when we materialize. But with the shortcast, I know that still that format is very premature in my brand, and I need to do more experiments with it. If you notice, I struggled at first with being able to stick it in a time frame from 10 minutes to a 15 minutes. I did some shortcuts, 45 minutes, 1 hour. That is a no-go for me. That is not something that I want to continue doing. I then did one very short, like 4 minutes. I tried that. So I tried doing my own music. I tried with non-copyright music. I tried different things, and I was testing all of those 10 episodes that I did called Shortcast were experiments. I know that they are not perfect. I know that they may not be of the quality that I know that I'm capable of, but they are the pioneers. your work is not perfect in the first trial. You need to go and do it every day until you develop the technique, until you develop the skills. So my intention is to come back to the shortcasts, in a near future, and go back one more week and continue to do that. Maybe one episode here, one episode there, until I start finding my rhythm and my voice. So definitely that format will stick on the podcast, although will not be the only thing that we are going to be doing. So send me your feedback about the shortcast. If you listen to some of them, all of them, or maybe only one of them, send me your feedback. You can write me at my Gmail. It is down below. You can write me on any of my socials. You can write me in derekisrael.com. But just send me your feedback. What do you think? What can I improve? What did you like? I am ears open. Next announcement. There's a new format for this podcast, and I'm very excited about the format. And it's not something that is very crazy. It is not a structural change. It is more like how I am perceiving this podcast to be, because it's getting more complex and more complex and more complex, as it is supposed to be. Because, as I always told you, this podcast is destined to be a platform. This podcast is destined to be something like a station in which different programs will be developed here. So that is my final vision in the future, but I am walking towards there. So what I will be doing new in the format of the podcast, well, so the new idea is this one. I'm gonna be perceiving this podcast, this thing that we are doing here, right here in the camera, here in the microphone, as a stage. Okay, as a stage. So when you have a stage, you know that people do different presentations in a stage. If you are like in a talent show, or in a competition of talent, some people go to the stage and sing, and some people go to the stage and dance, and some people go to the stage and do a comedy show, right? Different kind of acts in the same stage. So that is like the metaphor, the new metaphor of what the Mastermind podcast is going to be. It's going to be a stage. It is a stage in which I will come. For now, it will be me, but in the future, it will be a community, because I am gonna repeat this. My obsession is this needs to become more like a platform. So my obsession is that someday my voice will not be the only one that will be here on the podcast. I want this to be a mastermind. That's why it is called a mastermind. Anyways, but for now, I will be coming to the stage, and sometimes I will be coming as Dr. Derek Israel, right? And when I'm say that I will be Dr. Derek Israel, is that the material that I will be sharing in those episodes will be more like my brand kind of material, like the material that I always covered with you guys: personal development, psychology, spirituality, stuff like that. But some days, the stage will be reserved for an archetype. So, you guys know, I hope that you know, if you have been following my work, that I have been talking about archetype signs a couple of years now. And that has been I think that one of the most popular subjects that I discuss in my podcast. And a lot of people always is sending me inbox about, hey, please discuss this archetype or this other archetype. So I have become used to bring an archetype, maybe one per month, here to the podcast, and I will be continuing doing that. But sometimes, just to be more organized in my mind, today is not Derek Israel who will be come to talk here. Is gonna be, for example, the old wise archetype, or it will be, for example, the witch archetype, or it will be, for example, the sun archetype, right? So in the stage, you will be seeing an archetype instead of Dr. Derek Israel as an ego, right? And it will be still me, but in that perspective of stage, right? So in other days or in other episodes, we will have in the stage a spiritual animal. That is something that we only have one episode, yet, only one episode. Like it was the episode about the cheetah as a spiritual animal. But I am obsessed to continue with this project. I know that some of you will not get it because some of you are not deep enough to go and study shamanism and to go and really study spiritual animals. And some of you will think that this is archaic, that this is kind of infantile and kind of delusional, but I don't care. I don't really care. Spiritual animals has been for me, wow, a transformational tool. And I know that there's a lot of value in studying spiritual animals. And I'm gonna be conducting some art projects based on spiritual animals. So this is gonna be something that I will be related for a long time. So why not bringing them to the podcast? Why not bringing that spiritual wisdom here? And maybe you will not resonate with all the animals, but you may resonate with some. So listen to those. So some days, the spiritual animal will be the one in stage. So I also want to do a new show in the podcast that I will be premiering very soon. That will be called the Talk Show, Mastermind Podcast Talk Show. And in that show, that I think it may be one of the most important shows in our future in the podcast, because it's gonna be for the first time ever, I'm gonna be talking about things that are currently happening in the present moment. I will give you some examples. I know that I have been pretty disconnected of society and current events during my whole career in the social media, at least in the 5 years that I have been developing my brand. Why is that? Well, because I have been very focused on certain subjects that don't I don't distract myself with other matters too much. Those subjects are pretty straightforward. Psychology, spirituality, personal development, business, marketing. That's it. All the other subjects that exist, I just study them, but not too deep. Like, for example, economy or politics or sociology, anthropology, history, you know, art. I study them, don't give me wrong, but I don't study them as hard as I go with the other subjects. But that brings a limitation. And the limitation is that when something pop ups in real life, like in society, I don't talk about it because I'm so focused in what I am an expert that I ignore everything else. But that is not a good thing. I know that a lot of people see my voice as an authority. I know that a lot of people consider my thoughts, and I know that I can contribute to what is happening today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this show that is gonna be that's gonna be named the Talk Show, in which I'm gonna talk some about something that is happening in the moment. For example, in right now it is going on the Ukrainian war versus Russia. I can do a talk show about that. Now, I am not an expert on war. I'm not an expert on politics. I'm not an expert on um history. So I cannot provide a lot of facts. What I can do is to tell my opinion and to do some analysis and talk about it, keep the conversation going and to see what people find valuable of those conversations. I don't do it because I feel that I am getting out of my comfort a lot, but that is something that we need to do if we want to grow. When I changed the language from Spanish to English, I didn't like it the first couple of weeks. Now I have a month in my pocket of doing this, and now that I have been translating my courses during my whole day just to have the product on Spanish and in English at the same time, well, I have been feeling more comfortable and a lot of more fluidity in my language also. I hope that you are noticing. And so that is part of it. At first, I felt very bad with my English, and now I feel pretty good, and I will continue to improve. So that is part of it. Is doing that first step, going that first couple of steps are the most difficult ones, but once you do it, you can reach momentum. So another show that I will be doing as part of the stages, because the talk show is a stage, right? It's part of that stage mentality. Another of the shows will be the shortcast. So the shortcast will stick in the program, but as a stage, sometimes will come. But we are not ending here. The shows are gonna be implementing two new shows besides the talk show that also are gonna be competing. And also, this is the crazy thing about this idea. Maybe it's crazy for me, maybe it's normal for you, or you just say, "Oh my God, Dr. Derek Israel," with one of those weird thoughts. I don't know, but this is my inner child just playing in this microphone and in this camera. I have two new shows that I want to implement. One of them is gonna be guided meditations. Full guided meditations. The whole episode will be a guided meditation. You're just gonna start the episode, you're gonna plug in your headphones or your AirPods, you're gonna plug in those, and you are going to meditate the whole session, and I'm gonna guide you. Okay, so that is not something new in my life. I have done that a lot of times before, and in my meditation course, you can find 6 or 7 guided meditation there's. In my life purpose course, I have 2 meditations, I think. In my self-love program, I have 1 meditation. In my creator uh, course, content creator, I have 1 meditation. So I have meditations, but what I haven't done before is doing it in the podcast, and also I haven't done them regularly. I just do 1 meditation free for you guys, like 1 per year. But by bringing them to the podcast, what I will do is, one, I will be able to do them constantly. Two, that will help people to get motivated to get into the course of meditation. That is the most life transforming course that I have. Of all of them, for now, is the meditation, the first one that I did. 29 days of meditation. That is how it is called, from beginner to expert. That is the most life transforming course that I have. But for me to awaken the interest to you to go to my course and to change your life, well, maybe with guided meditation, I will be able to do that, to show you for free, what meditation can actually do for your life. So that is also a thing that we're gonna do. And finally, another new show that I am pretty excited about. And this is something that I don't know when it's going to start. But as soon as I learn all the details of how to do this, I will jump to 1 week or 2 weeks of experimentation. You will not see my face, and I will go right into do this as I did with the shortcast. because this is a skill that I must develop, and this will give so much value to what we are doing here. That is crazy. And is subliminal audios. So if you have experience with subliminal audios, then you know how powerful they can be. If you don't have experience, well, basically is music or vibrations or different kind of sounds that you will plug in your ear, and you will hear nothing, but inside the sounds I will be inserting powerful affirmations that will hack your subconscious mind. So everything that you are working here consciously with me, talking about these concepts, will be actualized through subconscious programming by the subliminal audios. And if you participated in my Think and Grow Rich mini series that is completely free, and you can look at in my YouTube channel, Derek Israel, Think and Grow Rich mini series is a 10-episode mini series of how to manifest the life of your life, the life of your dreams. That's the correct way to say it. The life of your desire. One of the principles of that mini series is hacking your subconscious mind. So I did that mini series like 3 weeks ago, and I went through the whole book of Think and Grow Rich like for the 100th time in my life, and I I got more profound in that particular idea of hacking my subconscious mind, and I decided to go all in hacking my subconscious mind, and I have been doing that for a couple of weeks now, and specifically with subliminal audios. That is a technique for hacking your subconscious mind. It's not the only one, but it's a very powerful one. And I have been realizing, oh my gosh, why I don't have this as part of my proposal. Now that I am becoming more skillful in the studio with music technology, doing the shortcast, now that I'm creating my own music, now that I am working in music, as part of my brand, although it is not fully realized what I'm going to do with music, but I'm in the first steps, in the early steps. But why cannot I cannot, learn how to do these subliminal things? And I have been doing my research. It's a learning curve, but I prognosticate that maybe in 2 or 3 weeks that will be something that is achievable for me, and I will go all in. And not only with subliminal audios, another idea that I have is also spiritual music, because with different frequencies in music you can attack different chakras, different stages of mind, different stages of consciousness. So I don't know how to do that. I need to do a lot of research, but after subliminals I will go all in on spiritual music to see how can I add that to the podcast. So now you may be thinking, but Derek, the podcast is supposed to be something that you speak. It is supposed to be something that you are talking. It's a podcast. If you put up music, there is not a podcast. Who says that? Who says how a podcast needs to be? What I have been realizing lately is that a podcast is whatever you want it to be. And I want my podcast to be the most experimental and innovative in life transforming techniques of the whole world. That is my objective and determination. And if that means that I will be uploading episodes in which you will not hear my voice and you will just hear some kind of subliminal audios hacking your subconscious mind, that that will be then. So let's see. Maybe after a couple of experiments in the podcast, I go and I remove it from the format and I put it as a you know a long thing, but I don't know. The reason that what I am trying to do all in the podcasts is also for a lot of efficiency, because I have so many things going on that if I want to bring all of these new things to the project, I, it will be very difficult for me to do it also by doing an episode in the morning of the podcast and also doing all the other stuff that I need to do in my career and in my personal life. So by establishing everything in one place in the Mastermind Podcast Challenge, it makes everything more efficient. I can experiment more. I can give you guys a lot of free value. And in the end of the day, I will have more skills to serve you better, not only in my free content, but also in the courses, because in the courses is where I will be doing more subliminals, more guided meditations, and all that I am learning here. I then go to my private stuff and I am able to help people, my clients, better. So, yes, that is the new Mastermind podcast format. The next announcement is that the Telegram dynamics begin. So, if you haven't joined our group in Telegram of this Mastermind Podcast Challenge, join. We are starting to talk now. Like we have been announcing the group for the last 2 weeks, but now is that we are starting to talk and to do the dynamics. So if you want to pertain or to join a community of like-minded people that is growing and having personal development as their daily breath, well, join to our group. It's completely free. The link is down below. And finally, the last announcement, it will be quick, I promise, is that I will be launching what I call Derek Israel Express. Derek Israel Express. And this thing will be also a Telegram channel in which I will be sending you my top content directly to your phone in Telegram. Why I'm gonna be doing that? Well, algorithms change. So everything that I post in YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, some of those things you may see them, some of those you will never see them. And that is not your fault and that is not my fault. That is just the algorithm fault. What the algorithm thinks that you will like. But when it comes about personal development, we cannot leave that work to an algorithm or to luck. We have to be proactive. So what I have been thinking is if I have, a free channel in which I can send all my content, or maybe not all my content, but my top content, the things that I am pretty sure that you need to hear, that you need to read, that you need to interact with of my content. That's why it is called Derek Israel Express. I will be sending that to that channel and you will receive it as a message in your Telegram. So you will be receiving my content directly to your phone and you only open when you want. It will not be something that will be, you know, causing you a lot of trouble. You can put that on mute. You can remove the audio, leave it there, and every time that you want to see what is new, you just open the chat and you then go and um, watch whatever you want. It will not be a group. We will not have conversations. We will not have interaction. It is more like a channel in which I send you stuff, like a mail thing, but directly to your phone. All right. So if you are interested in that, uh, be alert. I will be announcing that pretty soon. So now let's go to the podcast of today. I told you guys that I will only gonna spend 10 minutes and I spend how many? 40? Sorry guys. Alrighty. Let's go. What is the personal development positive cycle? and what this is important. Well, where can we begin? Let's begin by saying that this is a cycle. And as we as with every cycle, it's a thing that comes and goes, and it's a thing that you can be stimulating to accelerate. Cycles can be accelerated if we are not talking about natural cycles. For example, a natural cycle may be night and day, sun and moon. When the sun comes up, the moons go down, right? When the day comes, the night go out, and when the night comes, the day go out. It's a natural cycle. And in a way, we cannot accelerate that. We cannot accelerate the hours, right? Even if we want. But but other cycles in our life we can accelerate. For example, the cycle of working some things out with your partner, maybe something that you can accelerate. Maybe when you was with your partner at first, when you enter the cycle of having a disagreement, you was good, right? You were good. Then you had a disagreement. Then you fought, blah 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 blah, and then a couple of weeks happen, and then you have a resolution, and then you came back to the normal point, right? That is the cycle of having a disagreement, being angry at each other a couple of days, couple of weeks, then resolution, then back to normality. But if you are a conscious couple, you will understand that this cycle may be improved. Disagreements, yes, you will have forever. But the cycle of a disagreement do not have to imply 2 weeks of tension. You can accelerate that cycle. It is not the same as the night and the day because that cycle is like a more natural cycle. But in relationships, we can work things out. And you can say, baby, I notice that whenever we have a disagreement, we fight, we offend each other, and then we spend a couple of weeks with distance between us, and that is no good. How can we do this better? And with communication, you can have an agreement that every time that you have a disagreement, you both will start breathing deeply. So you're breathing, and then you continue talking. And also, you can decide that you will take 10 minutes of space, 10 minutes of going both of you in separate ways, doing another thing, maybe chatting your Instagram, maybe taking a shower, maybe taking a little walk, and then you will come back and you will talk again about the disagreement, but this time with a new perspective after taking your time. So by doing these things, by breathing, by taking a little bit of time before having the conversation, you are taking how can I say this? Preventive actions to make the cycle of disagreement less long. You know, you want to make it more quick. So you have the disagreement, you have the discussion, but instead of fighting and instead of being mad at each other for 2 weeks, at the next hour, you are good. You have the disagreement, you did the techniques, you have the resolution, and you are good. That is accelerating a cycle. And we can accelerate cycles in our life. We can eliminate some cycles in our life, but most of the time, we just can accelerate cycles in our life. So When we are talking about the personal development positive cycle, we are talking about accelerating a cycle of personal development that will give you more resources, opportunities, and possibilities to continue furthering and improving your personal development. And I will give you some examples and I will explain deeply. I'm going step by step. So let's talk about what I refer with um, positive, right? Because we have four words here. We have personal development, positive cycle. So the word positive means that it will be something that will increase and that will add stuff in your life. When we have negative cycles, we have cycles that remove things from us. And that is not a bad thing. We need negative cycles. We need disintegration. We need, how do you call this? Anyways, it's anabolism versus catabolism, catabolic processes. We need those processes of disintegration, of destruction. We need those. But we, in this episode, we are not talking about those negative cycles that we need. For example, when we are trying to disintegrate our ego to find our true essence, or when we are trying to disintegrate our muscles for, you know, getting them bigger in the gym. We need disintegration. We need negative cycles. But in this case, we are talking about a positive cycle, something that aggregates, something that add value to your life in doing personal development. So that is important. So what is exactly the personal development positive cycle? Well, it's a cycle that is adding to you more capability to grow more as you grow. So a very simple way to explain this is, if you grow, you will be able to grow more if you can kick in, if you can start this cycle. And I think it's very important to understand that momentum is everything during this cycle. We are not only talking about, yeah, Derek, I am growing. So I am reading a couple of books and I am doing workout and I'm listening to your podcast. I'm growing a little bit. That means that I am manifesting the cycle, right? No, necessarily. Because what we are talking about here is an aggressive acceleration. We are talking about a very determined direction upwards in your development that will change all the structures of your life in a way that will facilitate further improvement. So, if the personal development stuff that you are doing, it is not making you more capable of furthering your progress, it is not a positive cycle of personal development. If you are just growing for the growth sake, it is not the positive cycle of personal development. It is not. When we are talking about this concept, we are talking about growing to be able to grow more. It is like eating to be able to eat more. I don't know if that is a good metaphor. Maybe going to the gym is a better metaphor. When we lift a 30 pounds dumbbell, right? and we are lifting a 30 pounds dumbbell, we are lifting that, we are doing that cycle, right? Because we are gonna be able one day to lift a 40 pounds dumbbell, and then we want to be able to lift a 45 pounds dumbbell, because each dumbbell is a preparation for a further weight, right? Each dumbbell is getting you in a positive cycle of acceleration and improvement. And I know that not necessarily more weight is improvement. A lot of techniques are used and necessary in the exercise and depending on your goals, but it's just an analogy. It's just a, a common kind of a common scenario that we can associate what we are talking about. So positive development cycle is basically growing and growing after you start generating the momentum of growth. So how exactly you do this in your life? Well, here is a nice understanding that I don't know if you already have it, but if you don't have it, you will learn it today. And it's essential for personal development to understand this. At the end of the day, personal development as a venture in your life, as a something that you will take very serious, it will demand storage energy in form of money to be able to be fully realized in your life. And if you heard my episode about resourcefulness, I think it was in Spanish, but the title is in English. So in that episode, resourcefulness, I taught you about what is resources as storage energy, and money is stored energy. So for making an exponential personal development growth happening in your life, you need money, because at the end of the day, this is an industry and it's a business. So if you want to work with the best of the best, with the people that will actually make you improve exponentially, you need to pay for courses, for books, for mentorship, for events, like everything else in life. Like everything else in life. If you want a nice drink, a pineapple drink in a beach, guess what? You need to pay for that. If you want a nice massage, guess what? You need to pay for that. If you want a good mentor, most of the time, you need to pay for that, right? So that is how it goes. Now, that doesn't mean that a lot of personal development cannot be accomplished free. If you have accomplished a lot in your life by listening to me or other personal development gurus, and you have never bought a book before, a course or a program, never have gone to an event, and you have grown nonetheless, well, congratulations, you have grown. And that is a good thing. And we can grow by just listening to the free stuff. Definitely, we grow a lot. But when we are talking about going the extra mile, when we are talking about going to the supreme stages of personal development, we need to go all in and to cash in resources. A lot of people say to me, Derek, how the hell do you know so much about this subject, about personal development, psychology, life, mind, spirituality? Well, one variable is the time that I have put learning these things. And another variable is the money that I have put learning these things. Not only my doctoral program in psychology cost a lot of money, but all the courses that I have taken of personal development, all the events that I have gone, all the traveling that I have been doing, looking for personal development to India, to United States, to different parts of the world. You know, um, all the mentors that I have hired to work with me in a specific thing, all the consulting that I have done. This knowledge comes from a mix. All the books that I have buy. I have two libraries, one in Puerto Rico, one in Arizona, and I have another very big library digitally. So I have three libraries. So how I do this? Well, I spend most of my money in my growth. I spend most of my money in my growth, my personal money. And thanks God that I have been able to develop a business that is growth based. So the money of my business is also go to growth. So that is how I have been able to do this. But how you will be able to do this? That is the real question. Well, and this is exactly how you will generate this cycle in your life. This is the practical advice. And this is not the difficult part, but it's gonna be the part that you need to invest most of your energy doing if you want to really generate this cycle. And before I tell you this, let me tell you how this cycle may maybe realize, or how it will look like, because I know that a lot of people, and I also need this a couple of times, we need concrete examples just to understand what we're talking about. So let's say, for example, that okay, so let's go first. Let's go first with how you will generate this cycle, and then I will give you concrete examples. Okay, so how you will generate this cycle? To generate this cycle, you need to use your current personal development, right? Your stage, your mindset, your psychology, your spiritual character right now that you have been working, that you have been listening to episodes, you have been doing stuff, and you need to transform that into money. That is the first step. How you do that? Well, you have two options. And obviously, between A and B, always go with C. That is something that I always recommend, and I will be soon doing an episode about that. So you can find or create your third option. But in my perspective, I see two options, but you do whatever you want and create a new one if you find that more valuable. The first option, um, and the easier, maybe to find a good job, because you are personally developed now, right? So you don't need to conform with any job. You can aspire more, right? You can think big, you can organize yourself to develop more communicative skills, to be able to pass a better job interview. You are better able to stretch your interpersonal capacities, and you're able to persuade, to be more charismatic, right? Because those are um, benefits of this goal, of this work of personal development. So you're going to use those skills that you have been learning, and you are going to apply it, or you are going to channel those in looking a better job, a better paid job, and a job that you like more. Or maybe you are going to apply your personal development skills to rise in the organizational hierarchy of your own job, of your own corporation. So you don't need to look for a new job. You may be, getting better in your own job and getting paid more. If you cannot get paid more, then you need to change your strategy, because the whole thing about developing the personal development positive cycle is to use your personal development to generate money that you will be able to use for more personal development. So if you don't have more money, you are not doing this idea right. This idea is not about feelings. A lot of ideas in personal development are not about money and more about feelings. Like equanimity is a feeling, enlightenment is a feeling, it's a state of mind. You don't need money for that, right? But for this idea, we are talking about money today, guys. Okay, it's important. It's important. So you will do that in your current job or in a new job. The second option, and it's the option that I recommend more for people, but taking into consideration also that to be an entrepreneur, you need to have certain characteristics and traits that if you don't have those and if you don't want to develop those, stay with the option A and do it in a corporate job. There's nothing wrong with that. The option B is be an entrepreneur, launch your own business that is infused with your personal development goals and skills. That do not mean that it needs to be a personal development business like mine, because personal development is my business, right? I have courses for you, I have consulting, I have coaching, I have services and products that are surrounding the personal development nucleus or proposal. But a lot of people do personal development, but by no chance they make this their business. They do another thing, but they use personal development to progress their business. For example, restaurant owners, musicians, artists, comedians, um, people that work in the tech world, programmers, CEOs of retails, shops, stores. Maybe you have your own office as a doctor, as a lawyer. Maybe you have your own sport team. I don't know. Maybe you are an investor. Infinite ways that you can develop your own business. But the thing is that in order for that business to thrive exponentially, you need to infuse that business with your personal development skills, with the things that you have learned here, with the mindsets that you have learned in this journey. Mindsets like law of attraction, transmutation, visualization, meditation, yoga, healing your inner child, having compassion, doing conscious marketing, communication skills, persuasion, long term thinking. All of this, the things that you have been working through the books, through the audios, through the podcasts, through the videos. Well, you will use those to expand your business, to do a better service and a better product. And once you are successful with your enterprise, with your business, then you will use the fruits of that business and reinvest that in your own personal development that will give you more opportunity to expand your business. So you now can see how the cycle works. Now you can see how the cycle works. Let me give you some of the examples. Let's say that you go with option B and you develop an app, an application, a dating application, right? So let's say that you took my sexual mastery course and you understood some of the foundational aspects of sex, and now you have this big idea of how to do a dating app that works like crazy. So you get with a programmer, you found this business, you launch the app, and 1 year after the launch, or 2 years, bam, you have 30,000 active users paying you a couple of money per month, and you finally are financially independent. So now you have that business. But if you stay in the same state of personal development, that business will only become more egoic, more egoic, more egoic, more egoic. That it doesn't mean that you cannot do more profit. A lot of business, while less spiritual they are, more profit they do. Spirituality and profit do not necessarily correlate positively with each other. But the business at the end of the day will be only an egoic structure instead of a structure for good. And you don't want that. If it's a really a positive cycle of personal development, you should be developing yourself by developing a business that develops further the world, develops in a good way the world, and give you the financial resources to continue to expand and further your own evolution. So now you have the money, you have the application, right? So now you say, how can I use the money that I am receiving from my business to really serve better these people and to really grow myself? So if you are thinking about this concept of personal development positive cycle, so you will say something like this: okay, so what I will do is I will take the last $10,000 that I received from my business, and I will use them to go to India and to study real deeply what is Kama Sutra. And by me really understanding what is Kama Sutra in a very profound and direct way, using my money to travel there and to investigate firsthand what is Kama Sutra, I will be able to give my clients through my service a better experience, because I will know what new features I can put in my dating app to enhance the sexual and dating experience of my clients. So that is a concrete example of how you can make this work in your life. Let's give you another example. Let's say that you are working in a, let's say, let's say that you are working in a store. Okay, you are working in a store. You have been listening to personal development stuff for maybe 1 year now. You have been working with yourself. You feel with more confidence. You feel that you have more skills than before, and you are ready for a improvement in your life. So what you can do? Well, you know that what you want to do is to form your own, let's say, perfume business. You know how you want to do that, but you right now don't have the money, neither the knowledge to how begin a business, how to start a business, right? So what you can do? Okay. So the thing that you can do is to go with your boss and ask for a raise using all the skills that you already learned. And if your boss give you a raise in the same store that you are working, you like that store, you can use the money that comes with that raise, the extra money, let's say that you will earn, I don't know, one $200 more per month, or I don't know, 300 more per month, because now you are a supervisor, or now you are a manager instead of a normal kind of cashier. Now you're a manager. So you are maybe $300 more every month. So those 300 extra, you will take them and you will save them, right? In order to buy some courses, buy some books, buy some programs that will help you and teach you on how to start a perfume business. So see what is going on here. You are using your personal development skills, whatever you are learning here, but to getting a raise in your job, to using that money to further expand yourself, to further expand your knowledge, to further expand your human capital. That is how it is called, human capital. And then you will launch your own business and the cycle will repeat itself. So if your boss say, no, I will not give you a raise, then you will use your personal development skills to say to him, screw you and screw your business, I'm going out of here, and to look a better job and to continue the cycle. But a lot of people will not leave their job because they are not using their personal development skills. If you really were using what you have, you will be able to leave your work or your current job to find something better. Because what are the most basic and common types of personal development skills that we first develop when we are starting this journey? Well, positive thinking, visualization, courage, doing what we fear most, organization, scheduling, agenda. Those are like the most basic things. But if you are not willing to think positively while you are out of job, you will never quit your job. If you are not able to apply emotional intelligence skills while not not being in your job, you will not leave your job. So you really need to put you on the test and to test if you really have personal development skills to do this, to manifest the momentum of this cycle. So let me tell you some common types of barriers for this cycle or obstacles for these cycles. These are things that are going to make you probably fail in manifesting this cycle. That is the most amazing thing that you can develop in your life. Believe me, I am working right now into this. I don't have the perfect cycle yet, but this is my goal. And it's so awesome. Like, if you're able to work something out in a way that your personal development is just causing more personal development forever in your life, you will grow so much. You will be so advanced, so emotionally sophisticated, so spiritual, enlightened, so business talented and skillful that life will be amazing. You will be tapping into the infinite resources of an amazing life. But you need to, first, what you need to do is to Destroy these barriers. Indiscipline is the first barrier, the lack of discipline. If you cannot discipline yourself to apply what you are learning in personal development, you will never manifest this cycle. Personal development is about applying the treasures. It's not about knowing. Second barrier, disinterest. If you don't really care about manifesting this personal development positive cycle, you will never have it. And good luck living a life where you are not tapping to your ultimate potential. When you look to yourself every day in the mirror and you see the same thing over and over again, years pass and nothing happened in your life. One of the well, guys, let me tell you something. I am not proud of everything that I have done in my life. I am not proud of everything in my past. I'm not proud of a lot of things in my life. But what I can say that I'm proud of is that I look every day in the mirror and I see a changing man. I see a man that it has a lot of flaws, a lot of errors in his thinking, narcissistic traits, um, egoistical sometimes, arrogant, um, inconsistent sometimes, and a lot of shadows and demons that I have. And you know that I have those. And thank you for following me, although I'm not perfect. But I'm really proud that I'm doing the best that I can to change myself. And I do that by having the interest to do it. If I don't have the interest, the infinite desire to change my circumstances, to change my condition, to change who I am in my core, well, if I don't have that desire, I will never do it. So cultivate the interest first, always in life. Desire is very important. And desire is the first episode of the mini series Think and Grow Rich. All starts by desire. Remember, if you haven't listened to that mini series in my YouTube, I have a reproduction list that is called Think and Grow Rich mini series. Go there and watch the series. It's gonna be the 10 more transformative episodes of your life. Completely free. The next barrier that you need to break is the lack of patience or persistence. This personal development positive cycle, I have been 5 years working on it very hard, and still I haven't manifested the cycle as the with the velocity that I want. And I already have 5 years. So this is a long-term investment, guys. You need to be patient in this investment. Maybe you will maybe you will spend 3 4 years making your business work. Maybe you will spend a couple of years having that raised in your work, in your job, in your current work that in your current job that actually works. You will spend a couple of years. That's good. This is an idea that I just want to establish in your heart. This is a new concept that I just want you to meditate upon. This is not something that you will go tomorrow and accomplish. This is long term. Another barrier is lack of actualization of values. People that never reactualize their values, they will never achieve this. For doing this, you need to literally give yourself an update in your values. And your values must be oriented to personal development and to money. If one of those values are not in your structures of values, this will not work because you create and you manifest whatever you value. Never forget that. You create and you manifest whatever you value. So if you value personal development but not money, well, you will be very good at reading the books, listening to the podcasts, practicing the concepts, going all hard, all into the gym, all into the cold showers, all in to the vulnerability, to being intimate, to the relationships, to the sexual mastery, to everything that I teach you. Everything. You will go all in. My hair went crazy. Do you like this new color? Let me know if you like this new color. But you can go crazy with personal development. That doesn't mean that you will go crazy to manifesting money. To go crazy to manifest money, you should be business driven. You need to think about business, either in a corporation or either in your own business. It doesn't matter. You need to think about money and to came with strategies to maximizing your profit, because that is the same profit that you will use to buy more books and to buy more trips to China, to India, to American, Hispanic America, Latin America, South America, Colombia, Brazil, Peru, for doing psych, spiritual retreats. Those things cost money. If you want to go, to Africa and study their shamanism, that will cost money. If you want to go to Peru and do a psychedelic uh, ayahuasca trip, that will cost money. If you want to download or to buy the most recent book on how to develop a strong character, well, that book will cost money. So you need the money to pursue more finest personal development stuff. Events, a lot of people criticize the events of personal development as if they were um fake. They are not fake. They teach you stuff, but they don't guarantee the stuff. That is the error of a lot of people doing this work, that they think that this work will imply guarantee. It doesn't imply guarantee. How the hell I can guarantee that you will transform your life? I can guarantee that if you apply this, you will transform your life, but I cannot guarantee that you will apply this. Another barrier is conformist thinking. People that have this, uh-oh. Funny. I know that sometimes I do things that are not funny, but I think that they are funny. Sorry, guys. So, conformist thinking, what is this all about? Well, it is about what it sounds like. You're a conformist. You're good where you are. So if you're like that, you will not manifest. To manifest this cycle, you need to be dissatisfied with your current life, and not a dissatisfaction that will create self-hate. No, a healthy unsatisfaction, like a healthy one. Like, yes, I'm not satisfied with this, so I will improve it. Not like I am so dissatisfied with this. I'm the worst person ever. I'm a piece of trash. I'm a piece. No, not that one. Without having a victim mentality, and that is the other barrier. Having a victim mentality. It's everyone's fault, but it's not my fault. Derek, I don't have the storage energy because the economy of my country, Derek, is so poor. Hey, I come from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has been broke for the last, I don't know, how many? 25 years? I understand if your country is broke. That doesn't mean that you need to be broke. A lot of rich people live in Africa. A lot of rich people live in Puerto Rico. A lot of rich people live in the worst countries economically. Now, I understand that there is structures, political, economical, and sociological structures that can become an obstacle to developing your own richness if you live like in a community, or how can I say this, in a communist or in a socialist. I don't think that communism really exists, but maybe socialist kind of Cuba or something like that. Maybe this idea is a little bit more constrained, but generally you can do well. You can strive and achieve in any country, mostly in any country. So if you live like in Syria or Afghanistan, or in a place that is like right now like very bad to prosper, well, maybe you have a better excuse. But if you are in the United States, or if you are in Puerto Rico, or if you are in America, or if you are in Europe, or you can manage. You need to change some things, and you need to take you know some courses and read some books and listen to some people, but you can make your condition better. That is the promise, not only of personal development. That is the promise of humanity. That is the promise of life. If life cannot promise you that the possibility of getting better exists, well, why the hell we exist then? This is the general hope of life. We are putting a little bit of flavor in the general hope of life. And the last barrier that I want to discuss is the lack of sense of deserving and worthiness. So if you don't feel worthy, or that you don't feel that you actually deserve living this personal development cycle, this lifestyle, because at the end of the day, this is a lifestyle, guys. This is a lifestyle. Personal development is a lifestyle. And that lifestyle will demand money. It will. Because you can only read the same book for so much time. You can only take the same course for so much time. And in your journey, if you're really doing this, you will find so many good mentors and so many people doing crazy events that you want to go to all of them. And you want to experience every technique, every new crazy thing, right? That is part of it. And some of those crazy things cost money. For example, if you want to make yourself how do you call this? Sensory deprivement machines. I want to have one of those in my house. How that will cost? How much? I don't know. Maybe that will cost a good $5,000 to $10,000 to make. So that is a place in which you can Google it, but you doesn't have any sense. That you don't see anything, you don't hear anything, you are like dead there in there. So why you want that? Well, You want, definitely that is a very cool place to meditate. I suppose I have never tried that before, but that is just a thing that I want. But for having that, I cannot manifest that meditating only. I cannot do yoga only and then voila, my sensory deprivation machine is right there. No, I need to buy that. I need to build that. I need to hire people. I don't know. I need the money to do that. I need the money to materialize that. I need first to feel that I deserve that. And then I need to feel that I'm worthy of having that. And then I need to use my personal development, my current personal development, to manifest more money by giving a good service, by transforming the world, by doing something good, either in my own corporation or in a corporation of someone else. And then I need to reciprocate my service with money that I can use to build that machine, to put my body in that machine, to become more enlightened, and to be able to provide a more enlightened service to the people. And that is the cycle. That is the personal development positive cycle. You are positively cycling your way to expansion. And this is a long term strategy. This will not happen tomorrow. This is something to work for the next 10 to 20 years. So, for those that are for the long run, for those that are patient enough, persistent enough, grateful enough, these will be miracles for you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. For me, it was amazing to be able to come here to talk about this cycle for you guys. If you think that this content is benefiting you, please support this podcast on Patreon. We are now on Patreon. That means that you can receive here it's the new announcement. You can receive exclusive content that I will be posting on Patreon by just supporting us. You can start supporting us with only $5 per month, cheaper than a coffee in most places. With something cheaper than a coffee, you can support this free content that comes every day and transform your life. So I hope that you will check Patreon, and I hope that you can become a supporter. The link is on the description. And I also want to invite you to this course. It is on the process of getting translated to English in the next couple of weeks, but it's already on Spanish, and it's a life purpose course. And this is the course that resonates better with the personal development life cycle, in the sense that if you can actually connect and strategize and organize your life purpose in a way that is commercially, what is the word, available, yeah, commercially available, commercially a reality, a commercial reality. It's a commercial thing, because you can have life purpose, but that doesn't mean that you will have a commercial infrastructure that will power that life purpose to become economically sustainable. So if you can do that, you can generate this positive development, positive cycle, by doing what you love, by doing your life purpose. So if you are really interested in that, go to derekisrael.com and buy the the life purpose course. Check it if it is on Spanish or in English, very soon coming to English. And I know that that will be an awesome decision for you to start your journey of your personal development positive cycle. I see you tomorrow in our next episode. And remember that always I encourage you to leave a comment. What are your thoughts? And to share this with a friend in social media, or maybe in a chat, or maybe just call your friend and say, hey, buddy, look at this weird podcast of this weird doctor with a crazy pink hair. You should check this out, buddy. I see you in the next one.